What I've got to tackle with this one is getting rid of all the pinstripes and that on it. And for that I've got one of these, they call them caramel wheels here in Australia, but they're just a piece of rubber. I've got it in the drill. Doesn't need much pressure on them to actually get rid of the stripe. Essentially just keep going like that. Don't worry about trying to rub all that stuff off, because once you've got the main stripe off it, just go over it with a rag, soaked in acetone or thinners or something like that, and get rid of it. I'm not worrying about the paint on this one because all the paint's coming off it, but this can also be done on cars where you want to keep the paint underneath. You don't want to put heavy pressure on it either, otherwise the friction of it will build up a lot of heat in the one area. It's only a really light pressure on it, just to knock that black pinstripe off. Just a bit of acetone on the rag, clean up the rest of the gummy stuff. Smells good too. Not. This front left guard's had some repair work done to it. Actually was never completed. You can see there's well, it's hard to tell on the camera, but there's a dent in there. That edge is pretty straight, but it's in about there. All I used to figure out where the low spots in that are, there's a piece of welding wire, just a piece of TIG wire. It's hard to demonstrate while trying to hold the camera, but if you hold one end flat on either side of the dent, see, you can pick it up in the reflection here that there's a huge gap in there. We're sitting on the guard at this end and the guard at this end, so that was actually full of filler, so you're probably looking about 5mm deeper filler in that point there, and I reckon we can get the panel work a bit better than that before we put a skim of filler over the top of it to finish it off. So what I'll do now is I'll just go through and mark out the extents of the dent just with a black pen, and then get to work on it. Marking the extents of that dent there now. It's everywhere. We've got a high spot there, and we've actually got another dent that's forward of it, about here. Like I said, that main line's not too bad. If anything, it's in a touch about there. About there to about there. reflection probably comes back a little bit further, back to about there. There's that one there. And this one sort of comes back around like that. So it's low there and it's low there. And that's just about out of range of where the camera's looking at the moment, but there's another dink up here. Gives me a rough outline of where to look anyway. There's more further down here on the guard too, but I'll just worry about these ones for now. The theory behind this method is that if there's a dent put in your steel like that, it's not flat at the edges. The dent actually comes up and joins with the original metal. And by putting this on the top and your dolly underneath, you're not only raising the dent that's been put in, but you're pushing these sides back flat as well. That's the theory. Seems to work well in practice too, so I'll keep doing it. That whole area out there was full of bog previously, and I reckon that there's pretty good. There won't be much needed in here to tidy it all up. And just fixing that has gone a long way to making that guard line be almost back where it should be as well. So work on where the dents went in at first. It tends to sort out some of your other problems further out. The top part of that guard's probably ready for bog now, but I won't put anything in there until I've sorted out the rest of it. I can feel that there's a huge hollow in there. Also judging by the amount of bog that I have to dig out of there, I think it's not too bad here. So between here and here I should be able to get a decent line to figure out where that needs to come back to. It's a little rough down here, but I think it's pretty much in place. The nose cone comes into here, so I'll have to put that on later to make sure I've got a decent line, join line between this panel and the nose cone, which is sitting over there now. You can also feel that through here it's very high, so it's sitting out a lot more than what it should be, so somehow I've got to get that back in. And back here it's all good. A little bit rough around the corner in there. This will need a little bit of work through here. You can feel it low down there. That there looks like it's the original profile. see that down. You can't see that. Bumpers on bumpers and wraps around here. There's a tech screw in there from this way. So all that is all hidden by the bumper. Always give it a push one way or the other, just so that it's not popping from one location to another. Pretty good. So that's the panel beading done. Probably hard to tell by just looking at it on the video, but it's back in much better shape than what it was previously. There's no bulges in the incorrect spot like that there. That area there was sticking out too far this way, and no amount of bog could fix that, because it then becomes a high spot and you can only sand down as far as that. So that's back where it should be now. And skim of filler pretty much the whole way along there, from there to there, from there up to there. Should tidy that guard up nicely, and a bit of sanding, of course. Along quite nicely. Roughed it out with 40 grit paper on the bog first to get it into shape quickly. A couple more coats of bog in where it's needed. And now I'm onto the curves in here. In that flare, got an old piece of just an old exhaust pipe. Gives me that shape fairly well. I'm only using 100 grit on this now because I've worked it down already. Takes a little while, but it leaves a nice curve in there.